Navy boat number 214. It was washed ashore during the tsunami of 2004 that struck Khao Lak, Thailand, and it really put this part of Thailand on the map for a very sad reason. Different reports of how many people died or lost their lives because there are a lot of undocumented migrants who were working here then, but the number is as high as 10,000 people right here in this area. It got hit the hardest. Phuket also got hit, but Khao Lak definitely got hit the hardest. And right next to the boat here, 214, is 215, and a memorial for the Navy crew and workers that were stationed right here that also lost their lives, 33 of them. And the more known boat, which I'll take you to in a minute, it's washed ashore and they just left it there because it's so far off the coastline. And when you put the map up there, you can see just how powerful the tsunami was, because it literally catapulted that boat from the sea 2 kilometers up into land. There's also like a little museum there too. We'll hop over there in a minute. But also right here on the location of this memorial is Sea Turtle Conservation. And what they do is they'll take the sea turtles here to help them rehab. Say they're injured or they find them at sea and they're not well. They'll take them here and get them healthy. The Sea Turtle Conservatory. You can see the sea turtle there. This pool is full of sea turtles that they rescue. This is kind of like where they come to do the rehab for them. They find them at sea. Maybe they're injured. You can see, check it out. There's so many, and it's so cool. Like, and they're big, right? Super cool. I'm glad I did this stop, the Sea Turtle Conservatory. And a lot of people volunteer, I think. Even expats, foreigners, will come here and volunteer. And if I understand right, if I got this wrong, maybe somebody will comment below. I believe the Similan Islands close from May to October for the turtles to let them nest and have their habitat without humans. But this is really, I think this is a worthwhile stop in Khao Lak. It's stop number 28 of my 30 Thai cities in 30 days, Khao Lak. And there's memories of what happened, the disaster that happened here throughout the town, throughout the coast. You'll see memorials and just little memories that aren't so little, like ships that are washed ashore. And it's hard to visit here without remembering the tsunami. And a lot of us have seen the movie, or you saw the National Geographic special episode about it, which is really good. I'll put the link in the description to this video. It's very good to watch. For this episode, stop number 28 on 30 Thai cities in 30 days, I'm going to try to get a first impression of Khao Lak. People say it's Phuket 30 years ago. So I'm going to hop around, see some of the sites, explore up north. There's like a little town from the early 1900s that was settled by the Chinese, the tin miners, the traders. Go check that out and just get a first impression as much as I can in a short period of time. I was riding down the main road as I explored Khao Lak, and there was a kind of a broken sign along that road that said Tsunami Victim Cemetery. So I came over here, and as you can see, it is the Tsunami Victim Cemetery, but it's mostly abandoned now. I feel like that's the story for a lot of the memorials that have been set up for the tsunami that I've seen around town. Is they're not maintained anymore. They're like this, abandoned. And yeah, I mean, there's a sign out front that says how many people, I guess, are buried here from different countries, 39 different countries. You can see what's left of the US flag, closest to me there, behind me. But it's called the Tsunami Victim Cemetery. And it's just all these reminders sprinkled around Khao Lak about the catastrophe that happened here in 2004. But no matter where you are in Khao Lak, there's these reminders of what happened here, the devastation that happened in 2004, including this old patrol boat. And some people say, in fact, one reason that Khao Lak is relatively underdeveloped compared to Phuket is because when developers think about coming here, they can't get those images out of their mind, I think. You know, the fear. What are the chances of another tsunami happening? I don't know, I'm not a scientist. But they say maybe that's one reason Khao Lak has preserved a lot of its charm. They say it's like Phuket 20 or 30 years ago. Next up, I think I need to go over to this town. There's a town nearby that was part of the early 1900s. The Chinese immigrants who came here for tin mining.
Welcome to Takua Pa.
Takua Pa. We have some great students here. And yeah, the name of this town is Takua Pa. It's the little village I wanted to check out. It's right next to Khao Lak. And wow, it's a trip. I lived in Phuket for about 4 years, starting during COVID. And right now, I'm having straight up flashbacks to Old Town Phuket, also known as Phuket Town. I mean, if you look down this street, all the architecture is like Phuket Town without the commercialism. It's all this preserved Portuguese architecture and homes. It's remarkable. What a cool little town. I'm gonna park up here and kind of talk more about the vlog today. But one thing I noticed, you know, driving over here, I did drive by the cemetery for the tsunami victims. And I just wonder, with all the trauma and pain and suffering that happened in Khao Lak, I don't know if that ever recovers, you know? The emotion, the grief, the sadness, and the fear. I'm gonna pull over right here and have a cold drink. Check out this place, Liverpool FC. Some of you guys are loving this right now, except for the guys who love Manchester. And gonna take off my helmet and have a cold drink. Man, it's hot today. It's about 92 degrees, and some of you who are watching this vlog are going nuts because you have to look at a Liverpool banner. Meanwhile, some of you are loving it. But I think you'll find in every town, a lot of towns. For example, where I stay, Suratani, there's always a bar that is themed after Liverpool or Manchester United. But this town is interesting. It's influenced, it was settled by the Chinese in around 1900 because of all the tin trade. Same for Phuket, had a lot of growth during the tin trade years, right around 1900. But then I saw, when I was over at Khao Lak, kind of a site dedicated to the Hokkien, I think. You're gonna have to correct one of you the history here, but they settled over here 500 years ago. They escaped to this part of the world to get away from forced labor. So there's a whole history here, 500 years ago, the Hokkien people. And then, of course, most recently, the history is this tsunami, and I feel like it's imprinted on the entire area. I don't think you can forget it. I just wonder if, you know, Khao Lak is so unpopulated, so less developed than Phuket, just a little ways south, and it's just as beautiful. But I wonder if it's kind of like the ghost of Khao Lak. You never can erase all that memory for the people who lived here and survived it. So I just wonder, same with developers. I even think commercially, if any commercial development, I know they build beautiful 5-star resorts here, but maybe it doesn't get overdeveloped for that reason. I'm just guessing. But I've enjoyed Khao Lak a lot. And I think this little town's so charming. There's a weekend market here that I guess is really cool. And let me just kind of walk you through some of my experiences in Khao Lak. This is my 28th stop on my journey around Thailand, where I'm visiting 30 Thai cities in 30 days. And for each of the stops, I try to get a feel and answer 2 questions. 1, would I choose to live here as an expat? And 2, is it worthwhile to visit as tourism? But let me get started with my evening time here because I really loved it. I was here less than 36 hours, but I just really enjoyed my evening. I love this. I love these amenities that Khao Lak has. And I just like, what I'm realizing on this trip, whether it's where I was my Most recent visit before Turtle Beach was in Khao Lak. And they have these amenities of resorts. They have great dining, and you can come out here and just have these simple pleasures of a nice meal by the beach at a nice resort and just having dining options. So I think this trip has made me realize that, and it's also having me kind of weigh out different beach locations as places to live. And I've been on a number on this trek. For example, Songkla, Sichon, Kanom, of course, Krabi, Kolanta. I was in Turtle Beach where Tim was, and now here in Khao Lak. And it's nice. I need to do a vlog where I compare and contrast each of these beach destinations, and there's a whole lot more around Thailand, and just weigh them out because they all have trade-offs. So I'm gonna sit here and have a nice meal and start the evening time in Khao Lak. But Khao Lak is special. It is probably, the only way I would word it is Phuket from a long time ago, even though I never saw Phuket a long time ago. But they said that time during the pandemic was a lot like Phuket 30 years ago. And then next, I just went out to coffee and went to the gym. When I went to the gym, I met a couple expats and we had a conversation. I'm gonna share with you right now the short conversation with them. And if you wanna hear the extended conversation with them, it's with Lochlan and Nick. Nick's from the US, Lochlan from New Zealand. But if you wanna hear the extended, I'm gonna put a link in the description to this video with the unedited interviews and conversations with both Lochlan and Nick. Espresso.
Espresso? You
Yeah.
want 2 shot or
6 shots.
6 shot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You want 2 Americano? Or no coffee, right?
This espresso.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, Cam. Inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I like to start my day right here. And it's nice that Khao Lak has this. It's relatively new. It's just for me, it's a nice amenity. So after coffee, now I'll take you to the gym I worked out at, and I had a conversation with Lochlan. He's from New Zealand. He's been living in Khao Lak 10 years. He has 2 children. He's married to his Thai wife. Lochlan's from New Zealand. And as you can tell by his video, he fights, he trains hard. And on top of that, he's a dad. And his wife, you live here with your wife?
Yeah, we've been married for about 11 years and we've got 2 children. One's 9 coming next week, the other one is 2, and I will be 36 next week as well. All our birthdays the same day.
Hey, Lochlan, all your wait, what'd you say?
All our birthdays are the same day.
What do you mean?
Both of my sons and me, we're all born the same day. Yeah, April 11.
That's somewhat
Strange,
unique.
like really unique. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's some like divine powers. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lachlan, okay, so you've been here 10 years in Khao Lak.
Yeah, about 10,
13 years in
11
Thailand.
years, 13, 14 Thailand.
Where else
yeah.
you lived in Thailand?
I've lived Koh Phangan, Chiang Mai, a little bit in Bangkok, but I prefer the quieter areas with less people.
So let's go first. I'm gonna ask you 2 parts about Khao Lak. Number 1, what's great about it?
I think it's
Living here.
more that it's a nature and wellness retreat. So in the high season, the beaches are beautiful but not too busy. And in the low season, there's no one but unlimited clear waterfalls. And that's really where your win is. You're not here for having food and you're not here for shopping. You're here to reconnect with nature. Is really the reason why you live here.
The downside is?
There is no food and no shopping, and you only have the choice of reconnecting with nature.
Trade-offs, right?
Yeah, it's a
Trade-offs.
trade-off, but you have to look at what you want in life. And if you move to Thailand to live here, normally you don't really move here for a materialistic need or money. So I think by living in a quiet place, it helps you to be more Thai and to be more humble.
And then I met Nick. He's from the US. He's been living in the area for about 2 years with his wife and his child, originally from New Jersey. So, okay, this vlog is about Khao Lak. What's great about it? What's not so great?
So let me give you the back. So the backstory was we were living in Khao Lak for a while, which is super quiet, very remote. And my wife was working and I was working online, teaching English, but it was just too it was nice for a while. It was too quiet for me. So we said, how can we compromise? Let's go to Khao Lak, which is just an hour from there. So we decided to come here. We both liked the beach. And we had visited here a million times before, so we knew the area. But I think the nice thing about Khao Lak is there's something for everyone. So it's a rather big area with a handful of smaller towns that each sort of have their own vibe. Like if you go north to Bangsak, it's all Thai people. There's a couple of hotels, but if you walk on the beach, it's all Thais having picnics and stuff. If you go south to Nang Thong, it's all tourists. And it's rocky and the beach looks different. There's big resorts and stuff. So I think there's something for everyone. You can get your 50 baht noodles, you can get your 500 baht steak, you know. So that's the nice thing about it. And it's very seasonal. So as soon as it starts raining, which will happen about next month, it's dead quiet. Pretty much all the tourists are gone, which is good and bad. Depends on your personality, I guess, what you like.
That's a nice description you gave of Khao Lak. Where, if you were a foreign guy watching this, considering about moving here, where do you think would be the ideal place to move to, and how much would a rent be approximately?
I guess it depends what you like. So there's a surf community here, I should mention that. If you like surfing, so there's quite a few people that move here because they want to surf, and there's quite a few people that move here because they want to dive in the Surin and similar
a lot of
islands.
diving.
So you kind of have these two groups. Personally, I don't do either one. I just like going to the beach. But if you wanted to surf, I would live north towards Memory Beach, Kukak, that area, because that's where most people tend to surf. Diving doesn't really matter because you're going out on a boat anyway. But the town, the town here, again, it's all kind of just spread out along this highway. But the Hua Hin or Phuket, you have your big tall condos. We don't have anything like that. In fact, I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think there's a regulation about how high they can build. So you're looking at mostly like little attached single family sort of houses or detached houses with 2-3 bedrooms. And when my wife and I first moved here, we paid $8,000 for us.
$240.
Roughly, yeah. We paid $8,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. It's a building with 3 units, so we were connected, but we were on the end. We paid $8,000. We had a bedroom and a living room and a kitchen. Then when my son was born, we wanted to have more space. We had a single-family home. We paid close to 20, and now we're paying about 20. So that's kind of
$600.
So I would say like you could probably go even lower to like 5,000, maybe no aircon, up to like 25, 30 for like a 2-3 bedroom house.
This is a random question, but it's relevant. I think you have the experience to have some insight. If a foreigner or a guy in the U.S. is watching this, considering moving here, what mistake might he make when he comes here that he might be able to avoid?
Ooh. That's a good question, because I didn't come here like with the goal to move to Thailand. I came here to travel, and then I kind of just stayed. So it kind of happened organically. And I never got, the cliche answer is like, don't get caught up in the drinking and the girls and stuff. That never happened to me, but I've seen that sort of happen to some people. I know that's very cliche sounding with all the Thailand content, but and I would say find hobbies. Like a lot of people come here and they're not really working much, myself included. I'm working part-time. So it can get kind of quiet and sort of lonely if you don't have friends. So I think one thing I've been doing lately is like trying to dedicate more time to some of my hobbies.
Would I live in Khao Lak as an expat? Yes, for sure. But I feel like it's all starting to become relative in regard to towns that are on the coastal areas around Thailand, especially while I've been on this journey, whether it's been in Songkhla, Koh Lanta, Klong Mung, Krabi. There's a lot of great towns that are along the coast, and they all have trade-offs, but I think Khao Lak, for me, I would definitely consider it as a place to live as an expat. And I feel like I need to do another vlog that truly compares different towns and coastal areas and the trade-offs. Is it worth visiting as a tourist? Based on my experience, 100%. And I would definitely come here before going to Phuket. In particular, if you're not looking for the party and traffic jams, come here. It's amazing. You have all these resorts, the same beautiful beaches, Phuket, less expensive, less crowds. Everything about it, for me, for what I like, is better than Phuket. So that wraps it up. I have 2 more stops to go. Tomorrow, I'll be in Khao Lak, the national park nearby. And then the final stop, I'll be in Chumpon. So it'll be the coastal area on the other side. If you want more information about this adventure I'm doing around Thailand, you can check out my blog too. It's at the borderlessoffice.com. And for those of you who have reached out, maybe sent me an email or something, I apologize. I haven't had a moment to catch my breath and really check email or messaging, but I will get to it eventually. And anyone who has reached out to me, I will respond back to you. It just won't be immediately. Everyone, I'll see you from Khao Lak.